Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to Christmas in Arkham 2022. We spent Thanksgiving weekend going through a mini tournament in Fate of the Elder Gods to determine which Ancient One we'd take on for Christmas in Arkham this year. As a reminder, that was the prelude of the campaign, so now we're going to switch sides and play the Investigators as we try to banish our opponent, Shub-Niggurath. As next up, we have the Arkham Horror Files games for the campaign. If we win each game in the campaign, we'll start the next game with an extra item. But if we lose, we'll start the next game down 1 health and 1 sanity. Also, if an investigator is fully defeated, whether by sanity or by damage, that investigator will be taken out of the campaign. In addition, if we lose an Eldritch Horror via the final mystery, as long as it doesn't say the player is eliminated, we won't swap investigators out. But if we lose during the final battle in Arkham Horror 2nd Edition, then we will swap the investigators out. With that scene set, let's go meet the investigators for Christmas in Arkham. And as usual, we'll tell a small story to set the scene. Agnes Baker's nightmares were troubling her again. She was beginning to piece together her experiences from her past life as a witch, but there were still many questions that were plaguing her. Her work in Velma's diner in Easttown gave her an escape, but there was only so much work could do for her. She was also seeing a psychologist to deal with everything. One night, as she ventured to the forest for an evening walk, Agnes encountered a horrifying monster there which she recognized as a Dark Young. By a minor miracle, Agnes managed to defeat it, but she knew there was more to be done. The next day, Agnes caught a cruise to London. She didn't know what she would find there, but she knew one thing. Her adventure was just starting. Our first investigator for this year's Christmas in Arkham is Agnes Baker, the waitress. When I first got into the Arkham Horror Files, Agnes was one of the first investigators who caught my eye. And I'll shoot a separate video about the investigators who caught my eye. Anyway, let's go meet our next investigator. Jenny Barnes considered the note she was holding in her hand. Agnes had reached out to her to warn her about the monster she had come across in the forest in Arkham and what she thought it meant. After so many adventures together, Jenny had no trouble trusting Agnes's judgment on something like this. Still, her cruise to the Caribbean had already been booked, and the gentle swaying of the ship under her did nothing to stabilize her thoughts. Jenny fingered her pendant before clicking it open and looking at the photograph inside. Finding Isabel would have to wait. The world clearly had bigger problems than her missing sister. Jenny Barnes returns for Christmas in Arkham this year, after joining in briefly to try to salvage our mess of the summer of Lovecraft and Elder Sign. Jenny is actually what I term another Day 1 investigator. Next up, we'll go meet our next investigator and the last of the Day 1 investigators. Carolyn Fern had booked her cruise several weeks earlier. The ship she was on had left Arkham and was bound for Rome. Carolyn planned to visit the Vatican and see the sights around Italy. She needed the boost as her exhaustion from her work at Arkham Asylum had caught up with her. She had gotten an unexpected boost before even arriving in Rome. Her friend Agnes Baker was aboard the ship as well. Unfortunately, Agnes was somber in her traveling, but Carolyn still welcomed her companionship. Carolyn's energy was also sapped as Agnes detailed her nightmares that caused her to leave Arkham. Unfortunately for Carolyn, she sensed that the story was just beginning, and Rome was where it would start. Carolyn Fern, the psychologist, is next to join the team for Christmas in Arkham. She's also the last of the Day 1 investigators on this team, and our fourth joined the team to provide a very nice balance. In fact, let's go meet her now. Trish Scarborough looked at the report from her agency contact about the strange monsters plaguing various cities around the world, including Arkham. Trish closed her eyes from having stared at the reports for so long, and the images of the monsters stuck in her mind against her closed eyelids. There were too many of these reports of these monsters, and Trish knew the agency had charged her with helping to deal with this problem. She put her jacket on and stepped out into the harsh Russian winter with her .45 in her pocket. Rounding out this year's team for Christmas in Arkham is the spy, Trish Scarborough. As we'll see when we venture to the Eldritch Horror version of this team, this is actually a well-balanced team. With that, though, let's go meet our Ancient One. As the victor of the Fate of the Elder Gods tournament, Shub-Niggurath will be our opponent for Christmas in Arkham. Funnily enough, the first leg of the campaign will be a rematch of sorts for me. I have a group that I get together with approximately once per month to play bigger board games, and we got together a couple weeks ago to play Eldritch Horror. Our adversary then was Shub-Niggurath, and we managed to defeat her in the final mystery by making the Heart of Africa explode in the proverbial sense. As you may be able to glance here on the sheet, there will definitely be a focus on monsters when we face Shub-Niggurath, given that she's also known as the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young. In short, as long as we can keep the monsters in check, we'll probably manage to win this campaign. Of course, I'll just be happy to not have a repeat of my dreadful performance in the Summer of Lovecraft, where we got blown out by Nyarlathotep. With that musing, let's move back up top to wrap this video up. And with that, Christmas in Arkham is all set to begin. Sundays, the ladies will take center stage with the Black Goat of the Woods as we venture into the first leg of the campaign, Eldritch Horror. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.